In this walkthrough, I'll be showing you how to use the SchoollyEdTech application as an admin. Using the Schooly web application as an admin. If your account has been profiled as an admin, this is the way you are going to use the Schooly web application to access information concerning your school. I'll be logging with the credential I already have. As you can see. So once I click the signing in, it's going to take me to the admin dashboard. This particular admin account I am using is a super admin account, which also enables me to access the admin panel. This is the admin dashboard, this environment that we are now. And you can see summary information of the school everywhere here. This is my username. This is my profile code. And then I can see total number of students in the school is 0 for now because we have not registered any student yet. Then we have the total number of staff, which is also 0. We have the calendar here, the school statistics. The application enables you to have record of the graduated students, the total admissions so far, the number of drop students, expelled students, suspended students, and to even know your active staff. In this place, we have the student in class summary. The student in class summary is going to be showing us the total number of students in each class. We are going to be getting the total number of students in each class on this area. And then other information are just the Schooly information center, where you can see the result tracking, feed tracking, and all other information that Schooly may be posting inside your portal to update you about the application. So this is how to use this environment, to just walk around this environment. And then right up there, you can see the avatar image there. If you click on the avatar image, you can see the drop down menu, the profile, inbox, and logout. You can just quickly log out from here if you are done with using the application. When you look up towards the left side here, where my arrow is pointing, you can see list of menu. Here we have the dashboard home. If you click the dashboard home, of course, it's going to take you back to this place that we are currently accessing. Then as a super admin, you are going to see go to admin panel. If you are just an ordinary admin account holder, you will not see this go to admin panel. The go to admin panel label here is actually only seen by the super administrator. So we have setup tools here to use. List of menus here. We have the setup school information. If you collapse this menu, you will see the list of activities that can be done there. It has a lot of activities that can be done there. And then we have the student tools here. You can see the list of the menu, sub-menu there. We have the student staff info. We have payments. We have the inventory, the e-learning, the exam and CBT, news and mails, and my account. Then we have the school pages. Now to get started using the application, all you need to do first is to set up the school information first and foremost. You need to set up the school information first and foremost. And that we will see in the setup school info menu here. When you collapse it, you need to start setting up the school information this way. We need to add session. We need to add classes. We need to add the class arm. We need to even add exams. you may do this later. You may add exams later. You will need to add the subject also, and you will need to add staff category and department in the school. For us to get a student registered, we need to have set up some of this information, like the session and the list of class, then to set up the staff. Because when we are registering a student, the student must have a form teacher, or what we call a class teacher. So this teacher's information should be set up first before adding students. Please take note of that. So we are going to start adding information into our portal. So the first thing I want to add is to add the new session. So once you click on the new session, you will see the new session form. You will see the new session form. So I'm going to register uh, a session here. You can see in the form, it says session, e.g. 2023, 2022, 2023, etc. Just like that. So I want to register the session 2023, 2024 session. So I can just repeat the same thing here, 2023, 2024. This is a description. If you have other description for it, you can enter such description here. But the session name is very important. 2023, 2024 is the session I'm registering here. So I'm going to click on add new session. So once I click on the add new session, and you can see that the new session has been successfully registered. So I can register another session, maybe 2024, 2025. But for now, let us just be okay with this 2023, 2024 session, which is the current session as at the time of recording this video. So we can see the session list that we just entered now. If you go to session list, you would have seen the session list. You can see the name of the session is 2023, 2024. Then the description is 2023, 2024, just as we have entered into it. There are no other information. So this is where we get the list of sessions that has been registered on the portal. That is how to register your session. Then we go to registering classes. Because if we want to register a new student, the student must belong to a class. So we need to register the classes. Now, on the Setup School Information tool, under that menu also, you will see the sub-menu Add New Class. So I click the Add New Class, and you will see Create Standard. Oh, you can call it class, you can call it standard. So it says the class name, we should enter the class name. Example is JS1, primary 1, and all that. Then we can give it a description. So I'm going to register a new class. So I will register primary 1. You can use lowercase, uppercase, sentence case, or all caps as you prefer on your platform. So I'm using primary 1, and then I'm registering primary 1 rather. So I said primary 1. I don't put space there in my write up there, as you can see, primary 1, because if I put space and then another one I register, I don't put space, it may have a little conflict. So when you write primary 1 with a space and then write primary 2 without a space, it is not a good convention at all. Just ensure that if you are putting space, and then you ensure that you put space in all of them. But I will advise that you don't, I will recommend rather that you don't put space, because you may not know when you have put double space or thereabout. So we just say primary 1 without a space, then the description I'm going to still give it is still going to be primary 1. So I will add the new class now. You can see I've added the new class register successfully, register another or go to class list. Okay, let us go to the class list and see if this class is actually successfully registered. So if we go to class list here, we will see primary one. The ID you are seeing here is just the ID the system has given to it. It's not a serial ID, it's just the database ID. So don't be worried about it showing 7 or whatever. So you can see that the class is already registered. It has taken us to the e-learning register standard list, and then click on the standard or the class name to explore the subject in it. This is when we get to the e-learning, but for now we are just registering all the classes in the school for now. So we are not going to click on the name of the class for now. We are just going to register more classes. So let us register more classes. So I'm going to do add new class again, and the add new class, I'm going to register the two primary two primary 2. Then it goes. Then I can just quickly do primary 3 and primary 3, primary 3, and then primary 3. Then I do the primary 4, primary 4. So this is just the way you register the classes. And I will do primary 5, and then primary 5, primary 5. So I've been able to register primary 1 to primary 5. Now let's go to the class list and see if we successfully registered this. So wow, on the class list we can see now that we have primary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already registered on the platform. We are done with registering the classes. So you can add more classes like JS1 to 3, SS1 to 3, or whatever the name you call your class is. Then the next thing we are going to do is to register to add the class arm. The class arm is just the class group, like the section that you use, like primary 1A, primary 1B, or primary 1 gold, primary 1 silver, primary 1 diamond, and whatever way you call them. So it is good that we register the class arm also. This will enable us to register a student and then assign a class to the student and the class arm. That is the need for registering the class arm also. So I'm going to click on the add class arm, and on the class arm I have this form also that says class group, e.g. gold, silver, A, B. So let us register gold. Whatever the convention you use in your school, please just use that. So uh, I can register silver, silver, diamond, diamond. Okay, let me register A. If we use such class arm, A. But if there's a description we usually use to identify them, you can write the description in the description input there. So we have B, we have C. I think we should stop at C. So if you go to the class arm now, if you come here and see the class arm list, you would have seen all the class arm that we registered. You can see we have registered gold, silver, diamond, A, B, C. That is the way we have registered them. So we have successfully registered the class arm also. Now, to register subject, we click on this button and we'll register all the subjects in the school, registering all the subjects in the school. So if I click add exam subjects, these exam subjects are actually the subjects that are examinable subjects, if I should put it that way, the subject that a student write exam for. There may be other subjects that they are not exam subject that you take them as a add-on subject, so they are not to be registered here. Whatever subject that are registered here are subjects that we can call to generate the result sheet for students. So let's go through registering a few subjects here. So I'll click on the add exam subject, and in the exam subject you see this form. This one has three inputs. We have the subject ID, e.g. is math, ENG for English, ECHO for economics, and all that. Then we have the subject description, and of course we have the subject name. So let us start registering. So I want to register this new subject. So I call this one ENG to be English. Okay, I'm going to use capital English language. You can use a lowercase, of course. You can use lowercase English language. Then I'm going to copy it and still use it as the description English language. You can see the subject ID I call is ENG. That ENG cannot be repeated for another subject. It's a unique ID that you have to use so that you know that this is English. So we have the English language register. So let us register our first subject. So I'm going to use the subject code as ENG. I'm going to use English language, and then I'll repeat English language. So I will do register subject. Once I click on register subject, you can see it has registered that subject. So if I go to subject list, I will see the subject ID is English, is Eng, the name is English language, and then we have the description here. Let's click somewhere outside there. So we see the description is English. So we can register more subjects. So let's register a few other subjects. So we have add exam subjects. So I'm going to register math now, and I use mathematics. So I can repeat the same thing here, mathematics. So register subject, and you can see it's taking me to the register subject window. So I can have like more exam subjects. So I have ECHO. Let's use ECHO for economics. Economics and pick. Yeah. So I'm going to register the subjects also. So you can see we are having list of subjects. This is how we enter all the subjects in the school. This is to enable us to generate report sheet for the student. Just register all the subjects for all the classes. You don't need to register English language for JS1, then English language for JS2. No, just register English language. It will capture for all the classes. Mathematics will capture for all the classes. Where we have social studies, it will capture for all the classes. Civic and education, just like that. So for the purpose of this walkthrough video, let's stop at these three subjects. So that is just the way to add subjects to your portal. Then we go to the next, which is add exams. Add exams. If I click on add exams, you can see we can have the exam name, the description, and then the standard. That is, the standard means the class that is writing that exam. So let us call it a mock exam, for instance. Now the description is SS3 mock examination as the as the name of an exam. So, and then you see, I need to pick a standard there, but we don't even have a standard for SS3 here. So you must have registered all the standard, all your classes, I mean, here, so that you can pick the standard that is doing that type of exam. But in this case, we just have primary five. Maybe from primary five, you're going to secondary school. Let us call it primary five mock exam now. Primary five mock exam. That is the exam that prepares them into going to the junior secondary school. So we call it the exam name. The exam name is mock exam primary five. Just look at the way I've written it, mock exam primary five, or you can write it the way you can easily identify it. It is good that what you write, you're able to identify it and don't let it collide with another name. Don't let it has the same identification with another name. Make sure it is unique. So I'm going to pick primary five as the standard that is writing this exam, mock exam primary five. Then the primary five mock examination is what I give as a description. So I'm going to say register the exam. So the examination is registered. I can register more. I can register more examination here. I can see the exam list here. You can see mock exam for primary five, and then the standard that is doing that exam is primary five, and then the description is primary five mock examination. Just as you can see here, you can draw this. If you are using your laptop, if you are using your phone, you can also just drag this bar to see if there's any hidden information that is not displayed on a single screen. Then we go to the next menu. The next menu is add staff category. Remember, I said that we are going to have the staff registered before we register students. So the staff should belong to a category. The category, for example, is a non-teaching staff, teaching staff. These are categories of staff, security staff, or medical staff, or whatever name you want to give to them as it relates to your school. So let's add a category now. Add staff category. So you can see saying create staff category, category e.g. non-teaching. It's a category. So let us just enter some category here. I'm going to just enter to teaching staff. It's a category. So I'm going to repeat that here, teaching staff. Then I'm going to add the category. And you can see it was already registered here. So we have the teaching staff and then teaching staff. So I'll register the non-teaching staff also. I'll register just these two categories. Let's go back to category, say add staff category. So I will register non-teaching staff. So I'll call non-teaching staff. So let's register that category now. So that category is already registered, and you can see it in our category list. We have two categories of staff. So we have been able to register staff category. And finally, on this menu, we are going to register add departments. In our school, we have different departments, just like we have the teaching staff. We may have a teaching staff that is a science teacher, or is in the science department. Generally, it could be the lab attendant or wherever. So we are going to put add departments now, and then departments, you can see create department, new department category, successfully register another, or go to the next one. So we have the department name. You can see example is science, arts. So I'm going to register the science department, and I say science department. This is just to identify our staff, to know which department a staff is. This is just to have adequate information about our staff. So we are going to register another one. Let's register the arts. It's a department. The arts. It's a department for the teaching staff, for instance. Then let us add a non-teaching staff department, for instance, like we can say the security department. security department. We can even add the medical department. Let's add department. Maybe that is where the school medical team belong. So the medical, so department, so we can add medical. So we have successfully added three department. How many departments now? Four departments. We have science. That's it. We go for the teaching staff. Of course, we have arts. We have security department. We have medical department. So we have successfully used this menu to set up basic information about the school. Basic information about the school that will enable us to further add more information onto the portal. So the next thing we will go to is to register staff, like I said. The next item here, the next menu rather here is student tools. Student tools, but we are not going to do that. We are just going to go to staff info. So let's go to staff info and you can see staff list. In the staff list, you can see that we don't have any staff already here. We don't have any staff registered here. We just if we have staff register, we would have seen the staff identity, the category, the department, the phone number of the staff. If it's a teacher that is a form teacher, we would have seen the class in charge, then would have seen the status of the teacher. It would have given us brief information about the teacher. So I've given us brief information about the teacher. So let us add new staff now. So under that, you will see the add new staff. Add new staff. Oh, we now have this form to register new staff. So register new staff. Please profile the staff after registration. Profile the staff after registration. So, and there is this instruction here that says enter same username and password twice as provided below. So we have this form here that allows us to enter basic information for the staff. And the same form is going to be displayed when we are registering for students also. So let us register a staff now. I'm going to pick a username for a staff. Let's say I want to use Joshua. The name of the teacher is Mr. Joshua Marvins. So I'm using his first name as his username. But we need to take note of these that require 150 character maximum or fewer letter, digit and dash, at, and all these symbols only. These are those things that it requires. So you can even have Joshua.Marvin as your username. But here I'm just going to use Joshua as the username for the first step we're going to register. Then the email, let's assume the email of Mr. Joshua is joshua at gmail.com. The email is required to enable the user of this application to reset their password. In case they forget their password, they can use the password reset tool, which will send a reset link to their email address so that they follow the link and reset their password. So that is why it is good to give a valid email address. So in case you forget your password, because actually when we generate a username and password to users, they can actually change their password to their preferred password. So the email, when it is not provided, then or a wrong email is provided, you may not be able to reset your password except you contact the school support ICT team to do that. So I'm going to enter a password for Mr. Joshua also. So I will enter a password for Joshua. I will just call it. So I've entered a password, and take note that your password can't be too similar to your other personal information. In case you are entering a password and you have put Joshua, whatever. So once Joshua is detected in a password, it may not go. So you may not be having difficulty registering such. So just read this instruction. Your password must contain at least 8 characters. Your password can't be a commonly used password. That is for security purpose. Your password can't be entirely numeric. You cannot just use 3, 7, 8, 9, 10 for your password. It cannot be entirely numeric. Then I'm going to put the password confirmation. I'm going to put the same password I put as above here. So now I go to the staff username. The staff username is going to be the same name I have put here. So I can copy this. Make sure that it's exactly the same name. So and I paste that here. Then I can put the first name of the teacher, which is going to be Joshua. His middle initial, I can say, oh, his middle name, maybe I put B. Then I say his surname is Martins. Let's say Martins. Then the gender is a male. The date of employment I can put here, as you can see, it has a hint here, the month, the day, the year. So, and it is required. Let's say we are putting a day, you can type it directly there, or you can even click the calendar icon here. If I click the calendar icon here, the calendar will pop up where a I can select a date for such stuff. So here, let me just use the month is 01, the day is 01, and the year is 2022, for instance. Then the qualification of the staff, let's say, oh, it's a BSc holder. Then we need to get the date of that qualification. The exact date may not really matter, but the year is very important. So let's say it's 01 01 2010. That is when this staff got that. So you can see I have registered a new staff. I've not submitted the form, but let us just go through the form once again. And when you see that I have the username as Joshua, I've provided an email address, then I have a password which is must also always be similar. Then the staff username must be similar to this that I have put up here. Then I enter all other basic information for that staff. So I'm going to submit this form by saying register staff. Now you can see that the staff has been registered, but as you can see that Joshua has been registered, but you see we have registered category and departments, and then they are not displaying here because we have not updated the staff. So this is the first step of registering a staff or any other user on the platform. So you can see we have the staff identity as Joshua, which is the username, and the name we provided was Joshua Martins. Then the category is not provided, and all this other information are actually not provided. So what do we do to provide all those information? All you just need to do is to click on that staff that you have just registered, and then when you click on the staff, it will take you to the staff detail information. As you can see, we have the staff detail information here. The name we provided them was Joshua B. Martins, and then on the user detail, this is Joshua's detail environment. You can see that we have about me information, which says the full name is Joshua B. Martin, which we actually provided. The gender is the phone number, the email address, we provided there. We need to still update it here. The marital status was not captured. The employment date, I think we picked the dates employed. That is the only one that was captured there. Then the qualification also and the year obtained. The guarantor information needs to be provided also if there are guarantor information, and you can see the guarantor name, the phone address, and email. Then we have the next of kin information for the staff. This allows us to keep adequate records of the staff. And when you come to this environment here, you can see that we can update the staff information. We can even delete this staff if we have registered it in error. Let's assume that you were just registering this as a test and you want to delete the staff. Why not? You can quickly do that by just clicking on the delete staff. When you click on the delete staff, it's going to take you to this window where we have, oops, are you sure you want to delete the staff? The staff username, you can see as we have not provided the real, we have not updated the staff. It's not even capturing the username. Yes, it said the username is none for now. So, and you cannot reverse the detail. If you click on it, on this, delete staff is going to remove this staff record from the database. So, but we are not going to do that. So we say no, we want to cancel so that we can return back to the staff detail window where we are here. However, we need now to update this staff so that we can have a detailed information of the staff and the staff can be adequately registered on the database. So we'll go to update staff. So on the update tab, you can see is giving us a hint here. Say you are updating Joshua. So this the staff user identity is a Joshua. So make sure that you remember that and type it exactly the way it is. Don't put it as a capital letter or uppercase as may be called. So note, ensure the user and staff username are the same. Make sure so if you click on user, you will have seen list of a whole lot of users on this web application. So you can see that we have Joshua. Just make sure that you select Joshua. Then you can see staff username Joshua is already picked here. So you have Joshua here already entered there. We are updating the record. So some information we have entered previously will automatically be loaded here. So we have the middle name as we have provided, and the last name is this. So we can now enter his phone number. Let's say his phone number is 090900000, blah blah. So now his gender we have already entered already. If we have an address for that staff, we just enter the address. Then the region is just capturing, it's southwest, southeast, south, south, and all the region uh, that are listed here. So we have the southwest. Let's click the southwest. Then the category name. Remember, we have already registered staff category. You can see we have teaching staff and then non-teaching staff. So this staff belong to the teaching staff. And then the department, you can see we have registered all these departments already. So we want to say this teacher is a science department teacher. Then you can see we have a class in charge. So we pick all the list of the class that we have recorded already will be on that list. You can see as we have on the list here. So we want to say Mr. Joshua is the one in charge. That is the form teacher of primary 5. Of course, if a staff is not in charge of any class, so that place should be left empty. So you don't need to select any class there. So we have the class group also. As we can see, Mr. Joshua is in charge of primary 5, and then the class group is actually in charge of primary 5 gold. So we select it. If we are using ABC, we have registered all these class previously. So we just say gold. So we can see now from this record that Mr. Joshua is a science teacher, uh, and it belongs to the teaching staff category. Is the form teacher of primary 5 and primary 5 gold. So date employee, we're going to enter that again. Let us say the date employee is 001 2023 2023. We want to just edit that. Then the staff role. What are the role of this staff? Is he a form teacher? Like Mr. Joshua is actually a form teacher, or is he the principal of the school? Is he head teacher, admin officer, account officer, non-teaching, others, or just or we have to pick a role there. Even if you pick select, it's a role. That meaning that the role is not listed in the options that we have here. So or you can just pick others if the role is not listed here. So for Mr. Joshua, we have his role here, which is a form teacher. So Joshua is a form teacher. So we pick his marital status or is married. Then his phone number. If he has other phone number, also we can just enter that just to capture more phone numbers. One, two, three. Okay. The date of birth of Mr. Joshua we can provide. We may leave it blank, update it later. Then the qualification we've already entered that, remember. Then the month of the qualification, let's just assume is he got his qualification in 2020, 2010, 2010, uh, 2010, 2010. Okay, I think I got it now. The institution, let's say, is University of Ibadan. professional body. If he belongs to any professional body, we can just enter that. Then guarantor's name. If he has a guarantor name, let's say the guarantor is Mr. Amosu, and then the guarantor phone number, we provide that. The guarantor address, we enter that. Then we have the guarantor email, the next of kin address, the next of kin phone number. So we need to provide all this information if they are ready. If they are not ready, we can always come back to update this information. So I'm going to update staff profile. So having provided, ensure that you provide all information correctly. Like we have the username is Joshua and the staff username must be Joshua, exactly the same. Please take note of that. So I'm going to say update staff profile. And you can see the staff profile is updated. Now we can see an avatar, an image of an avatar of Joshua B. Martins. He, when he logs into his account, he can actually update his profile picture by going to update my profile. He can do that when he log in, but we cannot do that for him in this window. As the admin, he has to do that himself. So now we have the full name here, Joshua B, and then we have the gender, the phone number. You can see we now have more record of Mr. Joshua here. We have more record of Mr. Joshua in this place. So we can say we are done with Mr. Joshua record. So we've been able to register our first staff using the admin dashboard. However, this staff that we have registered needs to have a final profiling on the admin panel, which is going to be done by the super admin. So it's the super admin that will finally approve the registration of this staff. If we go to our staff list, let's go to staff list. You can see that we now have more detail of Mr. Joshua in our staff list. We can see that we have the categories of teaching staff, the department is science, and then the phone number is this. The Mr. Joshua is in charge of class primary 5. And you can see the status is inactive. Why is it showing inactive? It's showing inactive before because the super admin has not approved this registration. So it has to be finally approved by the super admin. Once the super admin approves this registration, then this staff will become active. Okay, let us see the super admin approving this registration now. How does it do it? So it goes to the go to admin panel. Since we are on the super admin dashboard, so we go to the admin panel. I'm going to open the admin panel in a new window. So I just right click and I say open in new tab. I'm opening a new tab rather. So in the new tab, look at it. This is the new tab, and this is where we have the admin panel information. This is where the super admin actually carries out other advanced admin tasks. This is where we have that. So he's just going to scroll down. You will scroll down to where we have users profiles. So we want to profile Joshua. You can see we have these 3 users already registered. We have admin, fiscal, then this is the Joshua. And you can see if you look at the Joshua profile code is already provided, then user type, you can see user type of Joshua is inactive. So this user, with his detail sent to him, when he logs into the dashboard, his account will be on profile. That is, it is not, it will display the account is not profiled yet. So the super admin should always ensure that the users are profiled. So I will just click on Joshua and you can see some other information of Joshua. So you can see the super admin can even update Joshua avatar right from here, the image. Here you can see the image. Once you click on the image, it can take you to the computer where you pick the particular image that you want for that. But we are not doing that now. We want to profile Joshua. So, and then you just scroll down They don't change any other information like the code they are seeing here. Don't change them. You don't need to even enter phone number. You don't need to enter his bio. He's going to do that by himself. Uh, but where we want to do something is the user type. So we just click and say Joshua is a teacher. So that is a teacher. So we make sure that teacher is selected. It's a teacher. Then we can save this information. So once we save the information, it brings us back to the user profile environment. You can see Joshua, and you can see now the user type of Joshua is a teacher. So with this, the super admin has done the profiling for us. Let's go back to our admin dashboard here, where we have Joshua that is inactive. So I'm going to refresh the page, and you will see that this user, the inactive will disappear, and we have another information displayed there. So let us refresh this page now. No, you can see now that the status of the user is now active. So Joshua can log in into his dashboard and perform all the tasks that a teacher can perform. This is how to register a new staff. The staff information must be provided before we register students so that it can capture teachers that are form teachers or class teachers. This will enable us to register the student and assign a class teacher to them. This is how to register a staff. So you can go ahead and register all the staff that you have in your institution. So the next thing we are going to do now is to register a new student. Registering a new student is going through exactly what we did while registering a staff. It is exactly what we did while registering a staff. So we just go to the student tools here, and then if you click on student list, you will discover we don't have any students registered. As you can see, we do not have any student registered. So we are going to add new students. Add new students. So adding new students brings out a form that looks exactly like the one we have used while registering staff. So we are going to go through the same process that we use in registering the staff. But in this case, we are going to use the student admission number as the username. And we have recommended that the admission number should follow a convention of using the year of admission, the school initial, and a serial numerical number. For instance, I want to register for Schooly now as a student. So I'm going to say, okay, the year of admission is year 23. That is 2023. Let us just put 23. Then is Schooly. So I'm going to just say CSCH. If the name of your school is Godly Heritage Schools, for instance, you can just use GHS. That's Godly Heritage School. So GHS. So we can use three character there, or even four if the initials of your school name is up to four. So let's say we have Godly Heritage International School, so it would have been GHIS. So you can use something like that. But in this video walkthrough, I'm going to just use, okay, it's Schooly, and then I'm going to use SCH. So I'll say 001 to register my first student. So we're going to use 001, 002, 003 till we exhaust up to 999. Then we can continue from 1000 to be 1000, and we just continue that way. So for the student, we have picked the username to be this and require 150 character or fewer letter digit, and all the symbols can be used also. So but make sure that you use the same pattern for all the student identification. This will enable you to be able to query the database when you are looking for information about a particular student. So it will enable you to query the database easily. So if you are registering it is not advisable that you begin to put spaces and all that. So you can use exactly the way I have done it on this walkthrough 23 SCH001. The SCH is your school initial. So I'm going to register the student. I'll pick an admission number for the student. Then the email address. We know that some parents may not actually have an email address, and then some may have. And as at the time of recording, registering the student, you may not even have the email address of those parents ready. So you can use the school email address so that the student, when he wants to reset his password, he forgot his password, it can always be the code can always be sent to the school email address, and the school can help such student to do that reset, can send the link to the student to do that reset. That is why it is recommended that we just use the school email address. But if it's a student that the parent can manage their email properly, so provide their email address there. So I'm going to provide the school email address. So I'm going to just say it's info at schooly.com.ng. So you are going to provide your own school email address to help the students. So that's why I provided Schooly. And then the password, I'm going to put a password. Uh, so I'm going to repeat the same password. Then the student username, again, is asking for it. Remember, it says enter same username twice. So I'm just going to copy this and then I will paste it here so that it can be exactly the same thing, or you can type it also. So the current class of the student, I'm going to register the current class. So this student is in primary 5. Then the class group that it belongs, let's say, is primary 5 gold. You see why it is necessary for us to register the staff, the class, and do all those initial set of fares so that we can see them in this list. So the admission date is, let's use the calendar this time. So I pick the calendar. I can hover around the calendar. Okay, the admission date is August, or I can always use the calendar, scroll over to get years and all that. I can even click on it to pick the year. When I click on it, I can pick the year. Okay, this particular student was admitted so year or so month, is 2022, or I can just pick 2022, and then I say it was admitted in February 2022. You can see I have February 2022 there. So you can really manipulate the calendar to help you to pick the date you are looking for. So I say, oh, this student was admitted 2022, February 2nd, you see. So, or you can type it directly there if you have the date. Then the student type, we can pick either it's a border or it's a day student. So let us pick a day student. Now, the class teacher, if I click, remember we have registered a teacher already. We would have seen the list of all the teachers in the school here. So we can assign a teacher to that class. So we know that primary 5 is Joshua is a teacher of primary 5. So we put that teacher ID there. Then we have the class on admission. The class on admission is we are registering this student for the first time on the portal, but it is possible this student actually started with the school right from primary 1. We are registering him as a primary 5 student. That is the current class that he is. So, but when he came into the school, he came as a primary 1 student. So this is to just keep adequate record for all our students so we can track their record that, oh, this actually started from primary 1 with us and then graduated in SS3. So it helps us to track the history of the student. Then we have the badge here. The student badge is actually their position. They are if they are prefect or they are not a prefect. So we just do that there. We pick the student badge. The student badge is like senior boy, the class captain, and all those titles. That is what the badge represents. So let's select a badge for this student. So the student does not have any badge, so we're going to put none. Then we can update the badge if the if eventually the student is made a prefect in the school, you can always add the badge. You can update by updating the student information. So far, we have entered information of this first student. We have the same username and the same student username. So checking all through the information, we can now register the student. So I click register student. And then you can see it takes us to the student list window. The student has been registered, but some information are still missing. The student need to be updated now. You can see we have the username 23 school 001. Admission date is as we have provided. The current class, the teacher is Joshua. The parent phone has not been provided. And when you see, we have not really even provided the student's name, age, and all that. So we need to do that now. So now that this has been done, we need to click on the student to update information of that student. So you can see the student information is not up to date at all. It has just captured the basic information we provided at the initial stage. So let us go and update students. Once we click on the student ID to take it here, so we say update students now. Just the same thing we did to the staff. You can see now we have you are updating. Well, the school, the student ID is student username is 23001. Pick 23001. From the list, you will see this list, student username. Please pick the same username that is provided here. Ensure you pick the same username. So I have 23 school 001 and then student username is 23001. So then I can enter the first name now. Let's say the first name of this one is Olawale. Olawale Greg Adejumo. See, so we are putting the detail of the student, and we can put the phone number of the parent 090. So, and you can see we have already registered the student. We have current class is primary five. It's primary five goal. The class teacher is Joshua, and we have picked the badge is none. So it's not a prefect. If it's a prefect, we can even click it's a prefect here. And then the student type is a day student. If we have the detailed address of the student, we pick it there. Then the region, we can pick our, okay, the student from the southeast, it's a Nigerian. Then the gender, we can pick the gender here, or it's a male student. The date of birth, we can say, okay, the month is 09 and then 01, 20, 10. That is the date of birth. The admission date must be provided. The date of birth is optional, so the admission date must be provided. Let's say it's a currently admitted student who was admitted this month 7th. Uh, of course, this student started from primary one, so the date of admission cannot be 7th. I hope you know that. Remember, we can pick from here, as I picked the other time, so we can get the year. You can scroll and get the year. Let's say this student actually came into the school primary five. This is 2023. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this student came to the school in 2019. Let's say January 2019, January 7th. So we have the admission date. Make sure you provide all those information. You can always provide them later. You can just put any date there and then update with your record, with your current record in the school, so you can update that later. Then we have the guardian name must be provided. So let us provide the guardian name and just say, okay, the name of the guardian is Mr. Udom, and the guardian address, the guardian phone number should be provided also. 010. So let's say this is the guardian phone number. If the guardian has an email address, we put. Then we need to put the relationship. You see now, the surname of this student is Yoruba Adejumo, but you can see the guardian is Mr. Udom. Udom is not a Yoruba name, so That is why the relationship is very essential to know who takes care of that child. If the child is actually with the parent, is it the father information we are putting in the database, the mother information, the sister, the brother, the aunt, the uncle, or other. So we can pick any of this. So I'm going to pick the uncle. That Mr. Odom is the uncle of that child, and the child is the student is active. So I'm going to update this student information. So this is just the way to register a student. And you can see we now have his avatar here. And then we have all that more detailed information about the student as we have provided here. All the information we have provided, we can see that we now have them. So we have this information. You can print out detail of information of student right on this screen by just, if you are using your computer, you can just say, right, you can say print, and it will take you to an environment where you can now process your printing and get a detail of that student. So we have successfully registered a student as a user, and then we have updated the student record. So let's go to the student tool and see if we can see the student properly in our student list. You can see now on the student list, we have more detailed information. On this table here is where we'll see all the list of the students in the school. They'll be listed right here, which by the time here is well populated, we can always filter students with all the information we have here. We can filter them by their status. Is it an active student? We want to see all our active students. Once we click on the active and we say search, it will search all the list we have and return all active students. We can uh, filter by the class teacher information. So like if you click on Joshua, we would have seen all the list of the teacher here, of course. Then we select Joshua and we say search. He's going to search all the students in Joshua's class. We can even filter by their current class. You see, you can see all the students in primary one, for instance. Now let's not select anything here. And then just all the students in primary one and say we want to search them. And you discover we don't have any students registered in primary one now. So you can see there is nothing on the list. So that is the way to use this filter tool here. So if I say all the students in the primary two, or we do not have anyone. So let's say all the students in primary two, oh, we are not getting anyone. So let's say all the students in primary five, and then we have in primary five, you can see we have seen the list of all the students in primary five. And once you hover on that student ID here, it takes you to the student detail. So we can see the student detail and get information that we want. Maybe we want to get the parent information or any other information concerning the student. We can always get it from there. So I'll go back to the student list. On the student list, we can actually download this all the student list in the school as a CSV. That is as a comma separated version, or what we call is going to download it for you in an Excel spreadsheet. So you will just see downloaded in Excel spreadsheet. Once you click on this, it will download it to your computer. Then you can have all this record in your Excel spreadsheet. So we have gone through the process of registering a new student. So that is how to register a new student. I hope you can do that very well now.